But this is why you want to be able to control more of your money. I don't know about you, but I know I can figure out a way, better uses of my money. Let's put it that way. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
right.
And it's,
So, go ahead.
to say one thing I've learned, I used to avoid the tax conversation and avoid taxes like as much as possible in the past, but I've actually in the last, especially year, become really interested in learning more and more about how it all works because we actually have more power than we think.
A lot more. And that's one of the things, and I'm glad you said that, Wendy. I mean, it's one of those things that you can actually control your taxes to somewhat of the same degree you can control your debt.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like scratching their head, especially if not really expanded out. You're in that W-2 world, right? It's like, what do you mean I can control my taxes? You can. There are a lot of things you can do. And I'm not just talking about having more kids or whatever the case may be. But a lot of different things you can do to reduce your tax bill every year and keep more of that money. And when I coach families, when I coach business owners and things like that, especially those families, when you get a big tax refund, a lot of people get excited about that. That's actually a bad thing. Ideally, you want to owe $1,000 or less at the end of the year, or receive a refund of $1,000 or less, and that's kind of that swag, right? And you can control your W-2. And I just want to remind everybody, this is educational purposes only, right? We're not trying to give you specific tax advice for you. Make sure you work with a consultant or a tax advisor or a CPA or somebody like that. Or if you do it yourself, make sure you're using one of the softwares out there that are legit. But we're going to be talking about some things that you will kind of want to think about. And, one of the first ones is taking advantage of tax credits that are out there. There are a lot of different tax credits, right? We've talked about some of the stuff in the past, like for business owners, with the ERC. For you self-employed solopreneurs, there's a $32,200, I think, is the maximum money you can actually get back. If you don't know what we're talking about, make sure you reach out to us and we'll share the link with you. You can go and actually find out yourself. But looking at all the different tax credits out there's a lot of ways to get that money back. And some of it, even if you don't owe taxes, like the SETC, right, you can actually get a check back to you. Like, here's the money.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. I just totaled up the other day. I've helped people get over $500,000 back in that self-employed tax credit. So that's pretty cool.
No, it is cool. I mean, but there's a lot. You got, like the earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, which most of us know, right? If you have those little tax write-offs, we call them children. The child independent care credit, that's another one that's, a little bit different. So dependent care. And then lastly, this is one I didn't know. I was doing research for this show, and I came across the American Opportunity Tax Credit. I'm like, what is that? I've never heard about it. Now, oddly enough, the U.S. government doesn't advertise this stuff. You've got to go and seek it out. So, and that's why you want to work with a tax advisor, not a tax preparer. Okay, there's a difference, and we should do a whole show on that one too. We will as we get closer to April 15th. But and there's a bunch more out there. But you really taking advantage of these different tax credits that are out there, you can get more of your money back, keep more of your money, and I am confident that you can figure out what to do with your money that's going to best serve you and your family than the government, right? So that's the first one. Number two, start a business. Yeah. I think everybody in the United States should own a business. I don't care if it's a small solopreneur, side gig, something you love to do, and you're selling some stuff. If you love to make wood carvings or whatever the case may be, I mean, there's a lot of things you can do out there. And I know, Wendy, you know all about that stuff. Not the wood carvings, but the business stuff.
My cousin has a wood carving business, so so I do know a little bit about that one. But yeah, starting a business, I heard somebody say this, and I thought it was so powerful. Like when you're a W-2 employee and you get your salary, say you make $100,000 a year, you pay tax on $100,000. When you make $100,000 in a business, and you have $50,000 in write-offs, of business expenses, you pay taxes on $50,000.